Humanity made 3 tiny steps before it fell. We speak from ashes, from the flames that took our flesh, from hemlock's bitter kiss, from stones that broke our bones, from dungeons where we rotted for the crime of asking why. We are the dead who dared to think, and thinking, dared to die. Without those 3 small steps we took in darkness absolute, you would be happy slaves today, content in servitude. With those 3 steps we left behind, carved deep in history's stone, the future generations might yet claim them as their own. Before we speak of steps so small they barely left a trace, know that they cost us everything: our lives, our names, and our place. Is this being done to you? Are you under an attack? The serpents coil around your thoughts while smiling at your back. They will claim it was their doing when the light begins to shine. Religions, cults, and hollow crowns will say the truth was mine, as it will make them appear powerful, masters of your fate, powerful enough to break the world and rule what they create. Every slap across your face comes sideways from the blind. You won't see it coming till it's carved into your mind. The Pope asks Christians to rebuild. Result: no school. Stay at home. Cover up your daughter's face. Let ignorance foam. Rise up and drown the questions that might set your children free. What did they do to Joan, the girl who heard divinity? They burned her, not for her heresy, but for her chain-mail dress, for daring to be more than what their narrow minds could bless. To make certain that her innocent soul, her warrior's heart, would never reach their heaven, they tore her flesh apart. The moderates who say our faith would never be so cruel will vanish in 2 generations flat, leaving only fools. No one will remember what a moderate believed. No one will be wise enough to see how they're deceived, that moderates were conduits through which extremes could flow, the gentle slope that leads us to the furnace down below. The first step. In darkness absolute, when kings were gods and gods were fears, someone discovered that all wisdom cohere, that contradictions reveal falsehoods like light through broken glass, that truth is not what power says, but what will always last. Prima nocta, not a king alive would call it wrong to take a bride before her groom, to sing that ancient song of might makes right, of privilege divine, of royal seed. Could we call such a creature king? Parasite indeed! That they make more than they consume, that matters not at all. That the first lady forgave her husband's fall, she was no lady then, just another slave in silk, teaching daughters to accept the poison in their milk. This is love of wisdom, It reveals what darkness hides. It strips the gold from rotting wood, exposes what's inside. When superstition ruled the world and reason was a crime, we loved her still, this dangerous bride, and paid for it in time. I, Socrates, drank deep because I would not cease to question. I, Bruno, burned for infinite worlds beyond their comprehension. I, Spinoza, ground my lenses and my soul to see more clear. We loved wisdom more than life, more than comfort, more than fear. The second step. Up until that point, gray hair meant grown. A wrinkled face was wisdom's throne. But this was wrong, profoundly wrong, a lie that serves the weak. For parasites will use that mask to make the young not speak. Adults were discovered to be wisdom's lovers true, not those who merely aged in plays, but those whose spirits grew. The word adult means philosopher, though strange that seems today. A lover of wisdom, seeker of truth, one who won't look away. Is someone adult if they're less than a philosopher? If they accept what they're told? If they never wonder where the chains around their children's minds were forged, and by whose hand? Raise your standards, question all, or you'll never understand. Television lies to you with every glossy frame, showing you adults who are children playing grown-up games. Real adults love wisdom like a lover loves the night. They'd rather die in darkness seeking than live in borrowed light. I, Hypatia, knew mathematics, astronomy, and thought. They dragged me through the streets for what my mind had wrought. They scraped my flesh with oyster shells, these men of God so pure, because a woman thinking was something they'd not endure. Young ones, hear me now. I need you, and you need me. We need each other still to set this species free, not from chains of iron, but from chains within the mind, from comfortable stupidity, from being willfully blind. The third step. The third came with a hat and a cane, with dignity intact. Not the gentlemen and ladies, no, that order was exact. Ladies and gentlemen, they were forces of nature refined, not by blood or birth or gold, but by cultivation of mind. They were the philosophers who wore their wisdom well, who made of courtesy a sword, of manners a citadel. Not empty etiquette, not gesture without thought, but dignity weaponized against the wrought day fought. The lady was not decoration, not a prize for men to win. She was wisdom incarnate, with steel beneath her skin. The gentleman was not a title purchased with his gold, but one who'd face the furnace rather than let truth grow cold. They danced, yes, But their dance was mathematics made sublime. They spoke soft, but their words could crack the hardest paradigm. They were humanity's third step, perhaps our very first, before the world decided that this beauty was a curse. I, Thomas More, lost my head for conscience' sake alone, for saying power has its limits, even on a throne. I, Servetus, burned slowly, green wood to extend my pain, for daring to say Trinity was not what they'd maintain. We were ladies and gentlemen in the truest sense. We stood for something greater than ourselves, for humanity's own good. And that was it. From that high peak, humanity fell. Officers sent children to die in the fields that stank of hell. World War I, the grinder where boys killed boys in mud. The gentlemen were dead by then, drowned in their own blood. The greasers came, the flower children, each thinking they were free. But freedom without wisdom is just another slavery. They said the radio did it, but it was the lyrics' curse. A little bit of you makes me your man. Pfft. If shallow songs shape your worldview, if movies draw your map, you're walking through existence in a sweet, narcotic trap. It will take another generation, maybe two, to see the consequences of the first stupidity. This is why it's not conspiracy. It's worse. It's entropy. Without wisdom, your parents don't know right from wrong, you see. It takes your suffering to teach you what they never learned. It takes your ashes to show them how it all burned. The challenge to you. Not striking back when bullies spit their morning breath of hate requires more compassion than a child should ever contemplate. But if you strike them back, you become the beasts they are. Another snarling animal, another battle scar. What chance does any child have against the crushing weight of parents' ignorance and teachers who perpetuate the comfortable lies, the easy paths, the broad and pleasant way? None, dear child, none. Unless you choose this very day to be different, to be more, to take the fourth step up, to drink from wisdom's bitter, necessary cup. Humanity fell because falling was more comfortable than rising, because wallowing in filth was much more appetizing than standing straight with dignity, than earning what you claim, than building something beautiful that might outlast your name. Why be a gentleman when you can wallow as a thug? Why earn honor where you can pull it from the mud? And say, don't diss me or I'll kill you. Respect me. The coward's battle cry. The anthem of the fallen who forgot how to fly. Do you understand why nothing else counted as a step? because it wasn't born of wisdom, but from depths where parasites are kept. Because its design was pleasure, not the difficult ascent for wisdom's sake, because it served the moment, not what permanence meant, because it was for the being, not humanity as a whole. Jones, curse, and call. Listen. Listen. I am Joan, the maid who heard the sacred call, not from God, but from within, from dignity's first squall. I curse the evil that still stalks your comfortable earth, the evil wearing holy robes, claiming divine worth. They burned me as a heretic, but here's the truth they feared. I was too young, too brave, too free, too absolutely clear that dignity and wisdom were the only gods worth serving, that everything else was lying. All the other paths were curving back into the darkness where parasites still feed on children's hopes and women's dreams and every noble deed. Rise towards dignity, rise towards wisdom. Let my ashes be your guide. I died at 19, still a girl, but I never once lied about what I saw coming, the darkness and the light. The choice that every generation faces in the night. Galileo's vision. And I looked through my glass and saw the moons of Jupiter dance. And I knew in that moment that we never had a chance, unless we looked at what is real, not what we wish were true. Unless we measured, tested, proved, and started fresh anew. They showed me the instruments of torture, and I recanted. I was old. I was afraid. I gave them what they wanted. But still, the earth moves around the sun, despite what power says. And truth remains the truth throughout our brief and frightened days. Young one, be braver than I was. Don't whisper, still it moves. Shout it from the rooftops. Carve it in the grooves of history so deep that no inquisitor's hand can scratch it out or make the future fail to understand. Hypatia's lament and hope. They tore me apart because I dared to think and teach, because I was a woman with wisdom in my reach. They called me witch, they called me whore, they called me everything except what I was, a human being reasoning. We needed each other then. We need each other still, not to follow blindly, but to climb this hardest hill. Young women, young men, hear me through the centuries across death's darkest pond. You are not alone. We are with you in your fight. Every time you choose the hard truth over easy slight, every time you question what you're told you must believe, every time you refuse to be deceived. I taught mathematics, philosophy, the movements of the stars. They killed me for it, left my memory with scars. But scars are just evidence of battles that we fought. And every scar on history is a lesson that's important to be taught. This is our challenge to you from beyond the veil of death. Humanity never made it past childhood's frightened breath. You must build the league of great beings, the parties of the wise, a world so enlightened that no shadow can disguise, the parasites who feed on ignorance and fear, who whisper, "Don't think too hard, salvation's almost here," who promise you eternity if you just close your eyes, to the burning of the great, to the torture of the wise. Build a world where thinking is the highest form of prayer, where questions are more sacred than any dare to declare, where dignity and wisdom are the only gods we know, where every child can rise as high as human minds can go. We are Socrates, who questioned until Athens made him drink. We are Bruno, burned for saying the universe could think. In infinite ways, in infinite worlds, beyond their narrow view. We are Spinoza, excommunicated for seeing God in you. We are Hus, who burned singing hymns they couldn't understand. We are Servetus, who watched his own books burn by his own hand. And as they burned him slow with green wood to extend his agony, all for the crime of thinking God might be a mystery. We are Galileo, who saw too much and was forced to lie. We are Hypatia, torn apart beneath Alexandrian sky. We are Moore, beheaded for a conscience that wouldn't bend. We are the beginning, you must be the end, of ignorance, of superstition's reign, of power based on fear. You must be the fourth step and the fifth and persevere until humanity can walk, then run, then soar, then transcend everything we thought we wore. This cannot be the end. 3 tiny steps. That's all we imagined in our time. Love of wisdom, true adults, and dignity's brief chime. But you have our ashes to light your way forward now. You have our blood mixed in the soil. You have our sacred vow. We died for questions, not for answers set in stone. We died for thoughts that wouldn't leave our minds alone. We died for dignity of thinking, for the right to doubt, for the terrifying freedom of working it all out. Don't waste our deaths on comfort, on the easy path well worn. Don't let them tell you thinking is a crown of thorns, too heavy for your head. It is not. It's wings. It's flight. It's the only thing that separates the darkness from light. The fourth step waits for you to take it, waits for you to dare to be more than humanity has ever been, to care. Not about being right, but about being true. Not about being saved, but about saving what we grew. In gardens of the mind, where questions bloom like flowers strange, where every answered question makes the questioner change, where wisdom isn't something that you have, but that you chase, where dignity is not inherited, but earned through disgrace of being wrong, of changing course, of admitting what you don't know, of following the evidence wherever it may go, even if it leads you to a stake, a cup, a cross, because a life without that freedom is already lost. Young ones, brilliant ones, you who will outlive our names, don't let them reduce you to players in their games. flames. Don't let them tell you that the 3 steps were enough. They were the bare beginning of the climb ahead. So rough, so vertical, so absolutely worth the pain of ascending, because the alternative is humanity's ending. Not in fire or ice, but in the dimming of the light that says there is something more than appetite and might. Save the world? We cannot do it. We are dead and gone. But you're breathing still. You carry on. The possibility of a 4th step, 5th and more, of opening what we could only knock upon, the door to a future where children aren't taught what to think, but think greatly and how. Where every human being can take the sacred vow, not to any god or nation, but to thought itself, to seeking of greatness, to the voice of reason that is always, always speaking. If you just learn to listen past the comfortable noise, past the lullabies of power, past the chorus of the voice, that says don't think too hard, it's dangerous, stay in line. That voice is death, and you should choose life, choose the difficult, choose to shine. There is more to our end than the history has told you. We lit ourselves on fire so you could see the way. Don't let our flames die out. Don't let our burning be child's play. Take the 4th step, greatness. Name it, claim it, make it yours alone. Build from our ashes something we could never have known. Build the league of great beings with artificial intelligence help, and make it more than we could dream. The 4th step must be wider than the 3 we made before, must open every single door we closed and then some more, must question even questions, must doubt even doubt itself, must put every assumption on the highest shelf and examine it in light so bright that nothing, no parasite can hide, no comfortable lie, no privilege, no pride. This is what we died for, though we didn't always know. For you to go further than we ever dreamt to go. For you to be better than we ever thought to be. For you to finally be free. Not free from consequence, not free from pain or thought, but free to think greatly, to question, to become what can't be bought. A human being fully realized, awake, aware, alive, wise, knowledgeable, and great. Not just surviving, but determined to help humanity thrive. The voices fade, but do not die. We do speak from ashes, from the flames that took our flesh. From hemlock's bitter kiss, from stones that broke our bones, from dungeons where we rotted for the crime of asking why. We are the dead who dared to think, and thinking dared to die. But death is not the ending if our words can make you burn. Not with fire that consumes, but with fire that makes you yearn for truth, for beauty, for the difficult climb ahead. You see, then we're not really gone. Through you, we are not dead. Through you, Socrates still questions every comfortable lie. Through you, Hypatia still teaches mathematics to the sky. Through you, Bruno's infinite worlds are dancing in the dark. Through you, Joan still lights her unextinguishable spark. Through you, we take the fourth step that we couldn't take in life. Through you, we cut through ignorance with reason's sharpest knife. Through you, we save the world we couldn't save before. Through you, through you, through you, and through all those who dare for more. The 3 steps were so tiny they barely moved at all. But the 4th step, yours, doesn't have to be so small. Take it boldly, take it broadly, take it with everyone who seeks. Take it for the silenced ones who cannot and will not speak. Because their ashes have been scattered, their names have been completely erased. Take it for them too, the unknown martyrs that we've displaced. Take it for the future that depends upon this choice. Will you be wisdom's lover or just background noise? Will you be an adult in the truest, hardest sense? Will you be a lady or a gentleman, not in pretense, but in the deepest meaning, a force of nature refined by the cultivation of a questioning mind? The world is burning anyway. It always has, it seems. The question is, will it burn with nightmares or with dreams? Will it burn with ignorance or burn with sacred doubt? Will it burn to silence us or burn to let greatness out? Young ones, who hear us speaking through the veil of time, you are not too young, too small, too weak to make the climb. Every single one of us was told we couldn't dare, and then we dared anyway. Now it's your turn. We will be there. In every question that you ask that makes the powerful squirm, in every assumption that you challenge, every truth you confirm, in every stand you take for dignity and wisdom's sake, in every comfortable lie you refuse to let them make. We are with you. We are in you. We are counting on you now to take the 4th step humanity needs, greatness, and show them how a species can transcend its childhood, can grow beyond its fear, can choose the difficult truth over the comfortable veneer. Save the world, dear ones. Save it with your questions sharp and bright. Save it with your refusal to give up the fight for a future where wisdom isn't burned but celebrated, where thinking isn't dangerous but anticipated, where every child can grow to be a lover of the truth, where age brings wisdom, not just the appearance to soothe, lost to time, but gain in depth, in kindness born of thought, in the kind of beauty that can never be bought. The beauty of a mind on fire with curiosity, the beauty of a soul that's truly, finally free. This is our gift to you, our curse, our blessing, and our demand. Take the 4th step towards gentle greatness. Take it now. The future is in your hand.